Hi, I'm Karina Jenkins Tucker, and I want to tell you about a paper that I wrote with my colleagues, David Finkelhor and Heather Turner, entitled Victimization by Siblings in Children with Disability or Weight Problems. In childhood, victimization by a sibling is commonplace and has negative health effects. Studies of peer victimization, which actually occurs less than sibling victimization, suggest that children with a physical disability, psychological disorder, or of non-normative weight, including being underweight, are at greater risk for peer victimization. Children with these characteristics often experience ridicule, social isolation, and teasing from peers. Though often overlooked, sibling relationships are an important part of children's relationship network and may be another context in which children who differ from the average are at greater risk for victimization. Even though sibling victimization is more common than peer victimization, it is rarely explored. In families in which a child has one of these characteristics, sibling relationship interactions can be limited or quashed and cause some frustration. Siblings in these families who are given caretaking responsibilities, say for a child with a physical disability, to relieve some of parents' burden, can also cause conflict and aggression when the demands become too much. Although aggression is unacceptable between peers, parents generally treat such behavior between siblings as not harmful and normal. Parents typically ignore or minimize aggressive behavior between siblings and likely contributes to the occurrence of sibling victimization. Currently, the research on sibling relationship quality in families in which a child has a physical disability or psychological disorder or is of non-normative weight is very limited, and some of the work is mixed and limited to small convenient samples. We are the first study to use a nationally representative sample of 2 child families. We investigate whether children with a physical disability, psychological disorder, including ADD, ADHD, and an internalizing disorder, or of non-normative weight, being perceived as being above or below average weight, are vulnerable to sibling victimization. We also explore whether these characteristics are associated with the number of victimization types experienced and the type of victimization experienced. For example, mild or severe physical assault, property aggression, or psychological victimization. To do this, we use the National Survey of Children's Exposure to Violence, which is a study of the incidence and prevalence rates of a wide range of childhood victimizations for children 0 to 17 years of age. In this study, the adult caregiver, typically the parent, completed telephone interviews. We constructed measures of sibling victimization to count only past year experiences perpetrated by a juvenile sibling residing in the same household as the target child. We summed the total number of parent-reported sibling victimization types. That included mild and severe physical assault. That included either an object or a weapon and did or did not cause injury, sibling property aggression, and sibling psychological aggression as well. We controlled for other forms of child maltreatment and individual and family characteristics, and our results showed that children with a physical disability and parent-perceived children who were thinner than average or that were overweight experienced more sibling victimization. Notably, children with an internalizing disorder experienced less sibling victimization. And victimization by a sibling did not differ for children with or without ADD and ADHD. Children perceived to be overweight by parents and children with a physical disability were at increased risk for experiencing more types of sibling victimization, and children with a disability had greater odds of being victims of property victimization, while children who were perceived as overweight experienced more mild physical assault. This is the first study to examine the association between sibling victimization and physical disabilities and psychological disorders and being perceived as of non-normative weight in childhood, using a nationally representative U.S. sample of children. We show that children with a physical disability or perceived as being different from average weight are at risk for sibling victimization. For practitioners and programmatic efforts, our findings provide evidence for which children are at risk. Our study also highlights the variability in the nature of the relationship between children's characteristics and sibling victimization experiences. Notably, that having an internalizing disorder lessens the risk of being victimized by a sibling in childhood. While most work has shown that children who are overweight are targets, our study also adds to the limited work showing that children perceived to be thinner than average are victimized as well. Given the important research linking sibling victimization and children's mental health, promotion of positive sibling relationships could be aided by screening efforts focused on children's well-being and sibling aggression during annual checkups. Medical and human service professionals should be vigilant regarding the nature of siblings' interactions and the well-being of a child with a physical disability, psychological disorder, or of non-normative weight. Given the frequency with which sibling victimization occurs, and it occurs more often than peer victimization, school or community bullying programs should include consideration of sibling victimization and the particular vulnerability of children with physical disabilities or of non-normative weight.